Hi guys, happy Friday. It is time to talk Real Housewives, and it is time to talk Kim Kardashian and her first marriage to Damon Thomas, which lasted for 4 years. A lot of you guys, I posted a little bit of a clip from the Shade Room of Damon Thomas talking about his 4 years with Kim Kardashian, and I had so many folks commenting and saying they didn't even know that Kim was married before Chris Humphries. So I'm going to give it to you guys from the beginning, and I'm not going to leave anything out. But before we get started, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to my videos so you don't miss anything that I have coming up. I also want to let you guys know that I included a photo of Kim and her first husband on their wedding day. You're welcome. You won't see this photo very often, and it is the only photo of Kim and Damon when they get married, okay? Another weird thing to note is that both parties allege that they eloped to get married, but somehow a Jenner has ended up in that photo. And what is suspicious of that is that that's Kim's stepbrother, but she didn't claim the Jenners any other time. Like, if you hadn't watched The Hills and knew there was a Brody Jenner, then you wouldn't even know that Kim had stepbrothers. Like, we never saw them on the show. We saw them go to Greece one time. That's it. Before that, I don't even think we knew that they had stepbrothers. Whatever. Anyways, he's in the photo. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So we have to picture a 19-year-old Kim Kardashian. She elopes with Damon Thomas, who is a record producer at the time. He goes by Getty, Getty, and he's making a lot of money, guys. It's the year 2000. If we go back in time, like, I just feel like life was a lot different in the year 2000, and I feel like there was more people, not as many people struggling, and not as much as like division in class, maybe. But regardless, he was making a lot of money, like driving Ferraris and Maybachs and paying for boob jobs and liposuction and taking trips and vacations, and they were living it up. He was making really good money, so he was financing her, giving her a, luxurious lifestyle, if you will. So fast forward, they split up, okay? And she is hanging out with Paris Hilton because Paris Hilton is her best friend, and Paris, she was doing the whole, like, she was cleaning out Paris's closet and styling her and traveling with her, okay? And we have to ask ourselves, how did Paris get famous? Paris got famous because a sex tape was released. So it's been like the biggest joke in the industry, like, oh my gosh, my sex tape got stolen. Like, that's not really what's happening. These people are making deals. Kris Jenner made a backdoor deal with producers and had that sex tape released. They planned the sex tape. Those have always been the allegations. I've always heard that. Even in this article, it said that Kim and Chris were looking for a sucker, and they found it when they found Ray J. And that's why they ended up making the sex tape with him. And then Chris, sold it 6 months. It came out 6 months before Keeping Up the Kardashians came out. Just like Paris Hilton, whose sex tape came out, and then she was on The Simple Life. Like, it's a verbatim, guys. Like, everyone says the Kardashians are like this media like machine because they took notes and they followed the people that were around them that were successful and in the industry and rich and famous, and they took damn good notes and they replicated it. And that's exactly what Kim did. She replicated exactly what Paris Hilton did, and it worked for her. Now, Damon's not happy, though. He says she can't write or sing or dance, so she does harmful things in order to validate herself in the media. He says, that's a fame whore to me. It's just not cool at all. He says after they separated, they get back together for a short amount of time. He says, Kim managed to lure me back into the relationship for a brief time in which she convinced me to finance another extravagant shopping spree, extensive plastic surgery, liposuction. She wanted to have the lifestyle. She wanted to be what she ultimately became. He said, I was cool with it until I saw her on the cover of a magazine with Jennifer Lopez's ex, Chris Judd. Quote, I saw my wife with another man wearing the clothes that we had just bought after her lipo. It's not something as a husband you ever want to see. He filed for divorce, which ended up being a dissolution. He filed in 2003. The dissolution happened in 2004. He's not happy that she's saying she was on drugs when they got married. She was on Hulu. The girls were sitting at the table and they were either talking about the sex tape, something, or drugs, or something along those lines, okay? And I don't think that I can say the name of the drug that Kim said she was taking whenever she allegedly made this sex tape. But in Keeping Up with the Kardashians, she says that she's only done drugs twice in her life. The drug that starts with an X. And the first time she did it, she got married, and the second time she did it, she made a sex tape. And we just know that's complete bullshit. But he is especially mad because he said, you know what? I wasn't on drugs. I didn't even know what that was back then. Like, I was young and naive, but you say a narrative about how you were on drugs, and automatically it looks like I was supplying you with drugs for, that's how he feels like that makes him look, and he doesn't like that. And he's like, you didn't have to be high to get married to me, Kim. Like, we were married for almost 4 years. Like, you didn't have to get high for me to spend money on you and buy you lipo and boob jobs and clothes and everything else. Like, and he wasn't derogatory about her, like the second interview, the most recent interview where he addresses her being on drugs. Now the interview I just read to you guys back from 2016-17, he sounds a little bit pissed. You know what I mean? So he's a little bit older now. He's probably calmed down. Now, so the sex tape comes out. This is where it gets juicy, guys, because now Kim has people thinking that there was a second sex tape, okay? But there wasn't. There was not a second sex tape. She's been adamant that there's not a second sex tape because so they're filming, right? And Kim's on the phone. She's talking about, this is the most recent Hulu series. Kim, Khloe, and Chris are in Kim's closet. She's trying to pack for the SNL gig, and she's like taking phone calls, dealing with whoever's on the other line, her lawyers, whoever it is, they're discussing a supposed second sex tape, okay? And when she hangs up the phone, Khloe looks at her and she's like, I thought you said there wasn't a second sex tape. Like, what the F? And she's like, I thought there wasn't. Kim says this. I didn't think that there was. She's like, but what if he stuck like a dildo up my butt or something when I was asleep? And Khloe says, I think that you would feel that, but okay, and they just kind of laugh it off, and she ends up taking like another phone call, and she is on the line with someone telling them that she has enough money and enough resources and enough lawyers to burn this mother effer to the ground. So it's something she definitely doesn't want out, which seems even more suspicious because if you had made a second sex tape, then you would know it was a second sex tape. You would know what was on it. You would have to do damage control, whatever the case was. If you didn't remember making a sex tape and you adamantly told us that there wasn't one, then you really wouldn't be worried about footage because you would know there really wasn't any footage, okay? Now, this is where it gets even more juicier and even more tangled. Before the Hulu series came out, when everything was going on with Kanye and Kim, Kanye did an interview and he was talking about how he went and got the sex tape for Kim. Like, she was doing SNL in New York City, and somehow, some way, they were able to locate the original whatever the case was. They located it, and it was in LA. Now, Kim and Kanye remember, Kim took Kanye to SNL. So Kim, Kanye, the kid, they're in New York City because Kim's gonna do SNL, right? All this starts transpiring. Kanye wants to go get the tape, so he leaves New York City, he flies to LA, he meets dude at the airport, gets the tape, flies back to New York City, and gives it to Kim. Now, she films all of this because it's starting to come out in the series. She's in like this pink bubble outfit, and she's like opening this huge suitcase, right? Now, Chris negotiated the deal when she sold the sex tape, which means she had final edit on what was used. There were things on that sex tape you would never want to see. Allegedly, one of them being a golden shower. Allegedly, okay? Allegedly, they cut that out, right? We never saw that. And there's other footage, allegedly, that Chris had left out of the sex tape because it was very vulgar and it was not something that you would want to see, okay? So what is happening here is that Kim knows that there's more to the sex tape that never came out, and it wouldn't make sense for her to say that, because it wouldn't make sense for if someone stole your sex tape and released it, they wouldn't edit it. They wouldn't cut any sort of something like that out of it. That doesn't even make sense. Like, if the more sex, the more money they would have got, the longer video, whatever the case may be. It never would have been the case that they would have edited it themselves if they stole it and wanted to release it and make money. That makes no sense. So she couldn't play that angle, and she surely did not want it to get out. And you know what? Kanye did not want it to get out either, because he does have 4 kids with her, and she was crying about how there was a pop-up regarding her sex tape when her little boy was like playing on his tablet. And I'm sure that is embarrassing and devastating, and I think that Kanye probably knew from the get-go that Chris sold the tape. And you want to know why he knows that? Because a couple of years ago, whenever they hospitalized him and he was tweeting, he tweeted Kim Jong-un, which is hilarious, and he said North's mom will never let her pose for Playboy. North's mom something else, and he makes an inkling that Chris sold the sex tape. So Kanye knows what the deal is, and I'm sure that they've known each other all this time. They've been married all these years. Like, they have a lot of dirt on each other, guys. They know where the bodies are buried, and Kanye knows that there is nasty shit on that tape, and he did not want it to get out. He has kids, Northies in school. He just didn't want it to get out, and I can't blame him. So he went, he got it, and he gave it to her, and he said when he gave it to her, she cried. And he said it represented all the time, like, it represented her just being had been used for this, whatever the case may be. We can't say for sure if she was used, or if she used Ray J, or if her mom was using her, guys, because that opens up into my next statement, okay? We got to go back to Ray J in a second, because he is posting on Instagram that Kim is completely making this shit up. Which doesn't really make any sense, but we'll get back to that. So this takes me on to my next little bit of tea for you guys. So Robert Kardashian had remarried before he was diagnosed with throat cancer and died. Allegedly he didn't have a lot of time between his diagnosis to when he actually passed away. The girls did not get along well with the stepmother. We see a little bit of that in the Keeping Up with the Kardashians, because I think they try to serve her for talking about them. They try to find her. It's in the episodes, but it's very, very, very old. But what's important here is when she died, she had a journal, and she journaled in it, and it was leaked, and there was a lot of accusations about Kim being abusive to Khloe and Kim. That Chris was abusive to Kim and Khloe. The abuse towards Khloe was about her weight, and it was constant, and it was all the time, and it was humiliating and embarrassing, and it really just kind of made the problem worse. And for Kim, it was more of a physical and emotional abuse. Allegedly, that's what was in the diary, okay? So maybe Kim was under the spell of her mother, and Chris is just the devil, like we kind of probably already knew that she was. I mean, I don't think that she could get 4 successful children. How do you have that many children that are millionaires and on their way to be billionaires? Like, that doesn't happen in real life. Like, normally if people have like 3 kids, it's really rare that all 3 of them are doctors. Like, usually 2 of them are doctors, and like one of them, I don't know, dropped out of school and changes tires. Whatever it is, they work. They have a good work ethic, but they're just like not like the lawyer or the doctor. So it's a little suspicious to me that all of your children are so wealthy and so successful, and the only one that isn't is Rob. You have to make sacrifices if you want to be successful in Hollywood. It's not a nice world. Nice things don't always happen there, guys. I mean, I'm sure that we all know that. We don't got to get into that, but we do got to get into the fact that Ray J has not said anything this whole time. Even like I said, Kanye did the interview where he talks about how he got the original tape back and met the guy at the airport. You know, Ray J doesn't say anything that whole time, okay? Now that it airs on Hulu, he comments on Instagram and says, this shit is like all a lie. It's so untrue, and I cannot let them get away with it. I don't understand. Can someone comment and explain that to me? Why he's saying that? Why all of a sudden? Is he doing it for attention? Does he want to cut? Does he need a check? I just don't understand why. I just don't know why all of a sudden he would comment on there and say that it was all fake when Kanye had already told this whole story. We're just seeing it play out now, how it happened. Maybe he's going to tell us why he's saying that it's fake. Maybe he's not. In the episode, she has like this big black suitcase, and she has all of her, closest friends lined up on the couch, and she opens it, and it's just very dramatic, the way that she makes it seem. But again, the whole time, guys, I think that she was scared it was going to get released, and she was scared that she was going to be a liar, and she was scared that a golden scene of her and Ray J from 20 years ago, unedited, was going to be available on the internet for $2.99. Yes, she was scared that was going to happen. Now, another fun fact for you guys. Did you guys know that Scott Disick's dad actually robbed a bank? I gotta look into his parents. I know he's an only child. I thought they just had a lot of family money. I didn't know anything about Jeffrey Disick robbing a bank that was close to their family home in Eastport, New York. He was turned into the police and pled guilty to the charges. He was charged with petty larceny, and because of his cooperation, he was able to walk away with paying restitution and doing some community service in lieu of going to jail. I don't think they were broke. I think he was on drugs. That's what I think. Scott has had troubles with drugs on and off his whole life. Drugs and alcohol, cocaine, sleeping pills, alcohol. And that sounds like something maybe a man that's on drugs would do. That's why he probably ended up cooperating, got clean, and never picked up the drugs again. And that's probably how they died with money. Who knows? We'll probably never know because there's only Scott. He doesn't have any brothers and sisters. We've never really seen him with any other family. We did see him with a close family friend after his parents died, but we don't really hear much about that. So I really want to know what you guys think and what your take is on the Kardashians and this very first husband. I'm gonna make this a 3-part series. I'm gonna go through each husband and give you guys like some details on their relationship and some fun facts. So make sure you comment. Let me know what you guys think. I just think it's crazy. I want to tell you guys this one last fun fact about the whole Kardashian and the Ray J thing. Okay, so Ray J and Brandy, the singer, Brandy was really big in the 90s. They are actually brother and sister, and I didn't know that until like a few years ago. I don't know how I didn't know it. I just didn't know that, okay? But whenever the girls, Kim and Khloe and Kourtney, were getting ready to open their Dash store, which was in like a Commons in Calabasas, they stole Brandy and Ray J's mom's credit card, and they racked up over $120,000 on it. And by the time Brandy and Ray J's mom, got the charges, figured out what had happened, they went to Chris and Kim and said, like, pay us or we're calling the police. And they did end up allegedly paying them. And allegedly they stole her card and bought merchandise and clothing and things that they needed to open their store. But supposedly they paid her back. So isn't that crazy that Kim and Kourtney stole a credit card from Kim's boyfriend's mother and put $120,000 on it and didn't think that she was gonna notice? That wasn't very good thinking. That was not very good thinking. at all. She's lucky she did not get in a lot of trouble for that. And you know, I don't know. Scott's dad can rob a bank and get away with restitution and community service. So, I mean, I guess in all fairness, Kim and Courtney and Chloe can steal a credit card and put $120K on it and never see a day in court. So, there you have it, guys. Make sure you comment, follow, like my video, and I'll be coming out with a part 2 soon.